This is Rich, Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you today? Man, it's good seeing you. I'm going to be doing a video on some comments, and mainly on a gentleman by the name of, he goes by the handle of Bullet McQueen 1. He'd left a lot of comments out there, and I'm going to try to address some of them. Some of them I addressed in writing, but it gets a little lengthy. So I'm going to do that now, and plus I got a few others I want to talk to real quickly. So anyway, stand by. We'll get started. Going. The first comments I want to address is all you folks out there who sent me warm Christmas wishes. I was touched. I really was. You made my holiday season. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You folks are the salt of the earth, and you're very much loved and appreciated. All right? Every doggone one of you. I've been trying to get replies out to all of them. Hopefully we'll have them all done tonight. So wishing y'all a very happy new year. But if you don't get it, let me tell you, folks, I'm praying for you to have a blessed and wonderful new year. And all your dreams come true. You deserve it. All of us. Including Bullet. So it even goes out to you, Bullet, even though I didn't see you leaving any Merry Christmas wish, man. Come on. Anyway, let me get started with Mr. Bullet McQueen 1 and some of the comments that he had left. The first one I really got a kick out of. We'll start in with the fake news thing. When news reports that someone disagrees with, a person calls it propaganda, ? You sound like Donald Trump calling CNN news fake. CNN is a middle-of-the-road news reporting. I love that one. I got a good laugh out of that. And we'll get into PBS next. Okay, number one, CNN is not the middle-of-the-road news reporting. It's like all the rest of them, my friend. All right, this nonsense started way back in the 60s under Operation Mockingbird. And CIA got drug into where they were buying your media, okay? The CIA got drugged before Congress, which you have to keep in mind. Congress funds this stuff. They know exactly what the CIA is doing. Don't let them blow sunshine up your tush. All right? Much like they drug the NSA in and go, are you pulling information out of cell phones? And they're going, oh, no, not us. Then they had a whistleblower show that, yeah, you are. They went back to Congress and go, well, yeah, we were, but we're going to stop now. Bull. Okay? And believe me, I have a lot of experience walking around in pastures. I see a lot of BS, and a lot of it is coming out of your government. Okay? Congress funds these operations. They know what these operations are. All right? Now, not every member of Congress, but they have their committees that know everything these intelligence agencies are doing. And I can guarantee you that CIA went in and go, we'll stop it. Yeah, right. Okay? But CNN, middle of the road. There's not a cotton picking one of them in the middle of the road. There was a video out, and I really should have went out and tracked that thing down for you. It showed where a news item was up, and it was something the government was doing. And it was kind of light, all right? And the news anchor that they were showing the recording of made a little personal joke at the end of it, a little quip. Then they took and were showing video clips from, I think it was like 150 other news channels from all over the country, all different affiliates, ABC, NBC, the whole alphabet group, CNN, Fox News, all of them carried the same story. Right down to the joke. Word for word. Didn't miss a beat. Okay? Who handed them a script? Now and again they get caught. It's BS. It's propaganda. Your government controls the media. Understand that. Take a look at when Rupert Murdoch got his little tush in trouble here a few years back. Suddenly the trouble went away, but if you look, Fox News programming really changed. They got rid of a lot of their people. Okay? Guess what? Yeah. Government pretty much told Fox News, now you get in line and shut up and sit down. And that's what they did. They have Fox News out there to entertain the right, much like they have MSNBC and CNN to entertain the left. You want to see, they even admit, they've got them on videos admitting their bias. All right? They are so left-leaning, it's not even funny. I thought half of the CNN anchors were going to bust into tears last election. All right? So don't tell me they're middle of the road. And don't think for 30 seconds they're telling you the truth. They're telling you what they want you to know. That's it. You want real information about what's going on in the world? They put it in this strange information system called books. Yeah. Read them. You learn all kinds of stuff. Okay? Don't trust the media. The internet has the truth out there, but you have to go through so much nonsense to get to it that you have to filter through and try to figure out what's the truth from the tinfoil hat stuff. Okay? Read. That's what you need to do. Read. Get books. If you want to know about history, get history books written by people on all sides of the issue during the time that it was happening. You'd be amazed at what you learn. Anyway, CNN in the middle of the road. Thank you, Bullet. I had a heck of a laugh out of that one. Because let me tell you something. I went out and looked at some of their stuff and really had a good chuckle. I watch, whenever I watch news, I would watch CNN, MSNBC, the Alphabet networks, and Fox News, and then try to glean if there was any truth in any of it. Okay? If the truth was there, it was pretty buried. Seriously. All right? These news agencies don't even carry investigative reporters anymore. All right? So why not? They're supposed to be a line of defense against a government. I don't think so, man. Okay? Look at their track record. I don't think so. Yeah. So if you're sitting there with your nose into CNN or MSNBC or Fox News and you're thinking everything they're telling you is the gospel, my heavens, you're being deluded. I mean, you are truly being led off into left and right field. It's that simple. Okay, CNN. Why I don't like CNN. CNN used to, back in when I was a kid growing up and in my early teens, had a lot of documentaries, and they would present documentaries showing both sides of the coin. They quit doing that a long time ago. My biggest pet peeve with them right now is all this global warming nonsense. They're right up Al Gore's tush, following his inconvenient truth. Yeah, inconvenient truth, bull. Again, I'm going to have to call BS on this one. Okay? Al Gore made enough money off all that to go buy himself some beachfront property in California. Yeah, beachfront property. Now, if it's going to, the world's getting warm and the seas are going to rise and the coasts are going to be wiped out, why would you buy $1 billion property on the coast? That's kind of stupid. He didn't believe a word of it. Okay? As most of them don't. You had the scientists from the UN sitting here swapping around emails they got busted at, trying to say, if anybody disagrees with us, how do we discredit them? How do we blot their name so badly that nobody will want to argue the fact with us? Yeah. Nobody paid attention. Okay. But actually, the latest, it's not the latest. It's been going on. It's 20 years worth of research on a man that says we're not going into global warming, folks. We're going into a global cooling. We'll probably be into a mini ice age. It's coming. And his model tracks correct. The old UN hockey stick does not and has not. See, the problem is they put that hockey stick graft out, and guess what? Enough time has passed where they can go, yep, miss that, miss that, miss that, miss that, miss that, miss that. Ain't happening. But researchers are beginning to look at the gentleman who put out and I did a video on it, I don't have his name in front of me, that put out the one that says, yeah, we're probably going to go into a mini ice age. Wow. It's climate change, though, by gosh, so the UN's still on track. The only problem is this man shows by his research it is not man-made. Man has nothing to do with it. It's the planet. It's been doing it since it started turning. Okay? It's nature. Get used to it. But the UN doesn't want to accept it because guess what? They can't tax you. They can't take away your money and send it off to some third world country because you pollute and they don't. And they can't control your life. Oh, you have to live in these special places so it's sustainable because we can't have the planet warm. Plus the research that I saw that if there was global warming and the ice caps did melt, there's a simple way to escape the floods on the coast. You start walking away from the coast because it's only going to rise like a half inch a year. Come on, kids. If you hang around long enough to drown at a rise of a half inch a year, you weren't too bright to start with. It's probably just as well we got you out of the gene pool. All right? Global warming's BS. A lot of scientists are beginning to step out and go, yeah. But the biggest problem with it is the reason they have so many on board with it, okay, is your government will fund any research that is geared toward showing that there's global warming. They will not fund research showing there isn't. Scientists and researchers follow the money. It's how they make their living. And you'd be foolish not to. If I was a researcher and I needed to go get government grants to pay my bills, all right, I would go global warming. You betcha. That's what I'm researching, global warming. Yeah. Okay, but true scientists, and a lot of them are even having to use crowdfunding to complete their research. So, and PBS carries this right on through. And even some of their kids' programs, my gosh, they're getting, they need to change it from PBS to PCBS. Politically correct broadcast system, or politically correct BS, whichever one you want to put it at. Okay, and they're pushing social, this SJW nonsense, and it's ridiculous. It is no longer a fair-minded educational program. There's a few good shows on it. I'm not saying there isn't. Okay, but for the most part, it's junk. It truly is junk. Like I said, turn off the TV, throw the sucker out the door, hand your kid a book, okay? And you'll have a child that's much better educated and much more stable, okay? Let's see what else we got here. Getting off the topic of that, I do appreciate the compliment that I sound like a multimillionaire, like I sound like Donald Trump. Appreciate that. I've never been accused of sounding like a multimillionaire. I really never knew what a multimillionaire sounded like. But if you're saying I don't like the news media today, mainstream media, yeah, you're right. I don't. I think it's a bunch of junk. I don't know that it's fake news. I think it's extremely scripted news and probably very much controlled news. All right? That's where I'm at with it. So I don't trust them. Sorry. All righty. The one thing you'd added out there was that a person probably needs 500 acres in a mild climate and 50 cows to make a good living with cattle. I'll give you a warning here. You ain't going to make a good living on 50 cows. All right? Not happening. You better have other lines of income, son. Nah, because by the time you figure out your expenses and so forth, you'd probably been better off working at McDonald's. Okay? And 500 acres, I'm assuming you're out of the Southwest area. Because you're talking about scrubland there, buddy. If you're talking about good pasture land, you can raise a cow on 2 acres. Yeah. All right. So you can have a heck of a lot more cows on 500 acres than 50. All right. Depending on where you're living, Like I said, if you're in West Texas, about 500 acres is going to be required, probably more. But if you're living in a place like Tennessee or Mississippi or Louisiana where you have grass, it actually grows. No, you ain't. Your 500 for 50 cows would be ridiculous. Okay. Nah. And like I said, to make a living, especially at normal markets, we had a blip in the market a while back, and that was primarily due to the herds that got destroyed during the blizzard up north in the Dakotas and so forth. They were, by the time they collected their insurance and so forth, I've got a video out there on that. They drove the market prices up because they were buying everything with 4 legs and a tail and paying outrageous prices for it. So, now things are getting back to normal. You can figure that a weaned calf anymore is going for anywhere from $350, depending on condition and breed, $350 to $500 a head. You're not going to make a killing if you only popped off 50 cows. Okay? Yeah. And you got to figure if you only had 50 cows, you probably aren't going to get 50 calves. So, yeah, there we go. I did cover the inline breed, this line breeding nonsense written, but I want to cover it again with folks. If you stumble across that, line breeding is not recommended by any reputable breeder, period. It all but destroyed the Hereford beef cow back in the around the turn of the century, 1920s, somewhere along in there. And they had to go back to had to go buy some heritage breed Herefords, bring them into the country, and start mixing the genetics back up into the Hereford to turn it back into a decent beef cow. So line breeding virtually almost destroyed that breed as a beef cow. Luckily, good stockmen using good practices brought it back. Today we're faced with the same thing, only it's in the dairy line. The Holstein cow is in a lot of danger right now. They're having lots of problems with it. Not a good deal. Okay. And here again, line breeding to try to get that milk production up and destroy the breed of animal in the process. And they really are working it over. Luckily, a lot of good dairymen are beginning to say, okay, we're going back to mixed genetics. The heck with this nonsense. And they're trying to find bulls and they're having to go back to Europe again. Because a lot of the problem with the genetics in the Holstein line is the bulls are sterile. That's not good. Okay. So, yeah. Nah. Okay. Line breeding is not a good idea, period, end of quotation. It saves money. And my biggest problem with line breeding is what they're doing with those cattle when they find out they've got a genetic fault. They're ending up running them into auctions, and some unsuspecting sap is ending up with this genetically deficient cow. That is just uncalled for. And those people need to be taken out and a good bullwhip taken to them, okay, that are doing that. And that'd stop the line breeding. Beat the crap out of them for selling you a genetic defective cow. So that is pretty much, I'm going to get into the other stuff with the Civil War, but that gets a little intense. I can tell you, you ain't going to find the information totally in the States because you got to go and study some European history at the same time to really put it together. But let me explain something to you. I started this research as a child, trying to prove my great-grandmother wrong. And after years, I had to admit she was right. Okay, and I'm going to share that with you, but that gets pretty in-depth, and so it takes a while. So this is pretty much going to be it. That answers, I think, your questions. And I do know that on the line breeding, you did say do a lot of studying, and I will go one step farther. Don't do it, because unless you're willing to take and cull a herd by digging a big hole, all right, into your back 40, and driving 50, 60 head of genetically defective cows into that hole and then killing them and burying them at a total loss to you, then don't get involved in line breeding, because otherwise you're adding to the problem and you're passing the genetic defective cattle along into somebody who may be starting a herd. And now you've spread that genetic defect throughout their entire herd. Somebody's going to end up eventually taking a heck of a loss because you wanted to make a quick buck. Do it right. Fresh genetics, change out your bulls. It is not that costly of a venture, folks. Herd management. It's the difference between money grubbing jerks and stockmen. Okay? And women. The term they use is stockmen. If you're line breeding, you're a mess and you need to be ashamed of yourself and get out of it. Do it right. Okay? Don't pass your culls off to hardworking people who are trying to carve out a living out here. It's nonsense. And 500 acres for 50 cows. Well, you need to move to a better state for raising cattle. All right. Or get Longhorn. They do a little better on that stuff. And like I said, CNN, middle of the road. I got a good chuckle out of that, my brother. I really did. Anyway, I'm not upset with you. I'm just trying to clarify some things. And like I said, you're probably not going to like the next one on the Civil War. It's going to take me a day or two to get that all put together. But it ought to be interesting. I'm going to give you some facts and figures that you probably haven't ever went and looked at. Okay? So you all have a good day. I love and appreciate you guys. And, best of wishes for the new year. Okay? Keep smiling. I told one lady in the comment, you always want to keep smiling. It makes folks wonder what you're up to. Okay? Have a great one. Talk to you later.